A little bit of everything, but when Steph Curry and LeBron James meet again, this is where we start our show. This time, Danny Green, playoff seeding implications certainly are on the line here. We're going to pick up this showdown in the 4 points in the first half here. The Warriors led by 13 at the break. Going ahead to the third quarter here, this is when the OGs really showed what they can do.
Yep, and Bron showing that he stretched his game out a little bit.
Hits the three straight on there for LeBron James, and then Curry. You know he couldn't be outdone. That's his shot. He said, come on, let me answer. Ring, ring.
I see your dollar. I raise your $5.
Steph Curry got that one, and then a minute later, good ball movement here. And then flight. LeBron had 14 points in the third quarter on 5 of 6 shooting here. Steph Curry, he had to one-up him a little. 16-point third quarter for him. He shot 6 of 7 from the free throw line as well here. Golden State would carry an 11-point lead going into the fourth quarter. Even when the Lakers, Danny, would close the gap a little bit, it always felt like the Warriors were in control. Look at LeBron's face.
I had an answer, and there goes Jimmy.
Steph Curry.
These threes is a tough night.
Loving it. Layton signed a jersey afterwards for David Beckham. This was a night that the stars showed out. The 56th time these two have gone head-to-head. Steph and LeBron became just the third pair of opposing players, each aged 37 or older, to have 30 points in the same game. They joined Jordan and Malone back in 2001 and Dirk in his last home game in 2019 against Jamal Crawford. Here they both are after the game.
Set a goal of trying to lift our level of play, preparing for hopefully a playoff series, but we know every game matters down the stretch, and the intensity has been crazy. That's what you love, like having something to play for is special.
Yeah, had to go against them when they added Kevin Durant. So, I mean, Jimmy Butler is great, and he adds a toughness to him. He adds a championship DNA type of guy. But it's always the same. They always figure it out. They always add somebody that makes it dynamic.
Neither here nor there, but I like the overalls look. Brian Windhorst joining us now. Brian, LeBron says that the Warriors, they always find a way to figure it out. But what specifically have they found here?
Well, Steve Kerr has used 38 different starting lineups this year. And this one that he's got, he's finally found the jackpot, because I know that this game was so much about Steph and LeBron and Austin Reeves being great in the fourth quarter and Jimmy Butler's impact on the Warriors. But this 5-man trio, which is their big three, Draymond Green, Steph, and Jimmy Butler, with Brandon Pajemski and Moses Moody, look, they're 13-0 now, Malika, 13-0 together. When they've been on the court, they're outscoring opponents by 138 points. And the reason this is such an effective lineup is because they're so great on defense. Look at these numbers. Look at this efficiency. Because they're so quick, they can cover for each other. They can cover for Steph, quite frankly. They generate lots of turnovers. They can play a full switch defense. And this is what's been the lifeblood of this Warriors late season push. It's this lineup that sent the Lakers to a loss last night. It's this lineup that, in my mind, has the Warriors with a real chance to make a run in the Western Conference playoffs.
And being at the game last night, Brian, you could feel that from this Golden State Warriors team. There is belief, and that is a dangerous team for a group that still has the nucleus that won 4 championships together. More from Brian in just a second. On the other side, though, offense, I know J.J. Redick said in the first half it was a little stagnant, but it wasn't necessarily a problem, Danny, for the Lakers. We can certainly look at Luka being 0 for 6 from 3, but the quartet of Luka, LeBron, Rui, Austin Reeves combined for their highest point total of any game together this year. So what did the Dubs expose last night for Luka specifically?
I think what everybody's looking at, and that's getting that mismatch in the playoffs. The game is going to slow down, and getting Luka in action. As you've seen Steph Curry sawing out Luka, trying to get him to switch. He's a little hesitant. Steph knocks down a 3. Later in the game, last 2 minutes was the most electrifying part of the game anyway, but later in the game, trying to get Luka in action. He finally gets a switch. I know Steph's not much of a rhythm guy, but let me have this dance. Easy lay down the lane. Similar situation. Now he gives him a different look, but this is where Steph is at his best, when he's off the ball some. Gets a switch first, get Luka back in this action, switch him again, put him in a different type of action. Draymond Green, come here, throw and go. Luka's not used to guarding that type of action. Wide open 3, Steph 37 points to finish the game.
Yeah, so Luka Doncic, certainly it wasn't his best game in a Los Angeles Lakers uniform here. We're going to get to more on that in just a minute. The Lakers, they had some defensive weaknesses exposed, but on the flip side of all of this, as we say hello to our friend Kendrick Perkins, the Golden State Warriors here, we got an appetizer from Brian Windhorst. Let's get the main course from you here, Perk, because you tweeted that Draymond has your Defensive Player of the Year vote. Why is that? What did he and the Warriors display last night?
Oh, I know I tweeted it, Malika, because I used my fingers. And you know why? Because Draymond put on a defensive clinic.
Okay.
Put on a defensive clinic last night. And look, people want to talk about numbers, steals, and blocks. Watch this defensive possession right here. The triple switch, alerting post to say, hey, go corner. I see this action and happen. You know what? Kuminga, you go with this guy. I want to be involved with this pick and roll. Switches out on Austin Reeves, and look how he gets down into a stance, sliding those puppies, moving those feet, getting a great contest. And then all of a sudden, here comes another possession when it matters the most. It's late in the game. The score is tied, 119-119. And who comes up with the big strip? It is Draymond Green with the big steal for Golden State to get the possession. These are intangibles that you just can't teach, that doesn't show up in the box score. You just have to be a student of the game. You got to be a learner when you at a sponge, when you're in the film room, when you at shoot around, knowing these type of situations. This is what a defensive player of the year looked like, Draymond Green.
The odds makers agree with you because they've completely flipped. He was as long as 100-1 in late February, Perk. Now he's the odds-on favorite. It was the perfect game to follow up the interview he had with us on NBA Today, where he said that he is the defensive player of the year and one of the most important defensive players of the last 20 seasons. Now, Green, he played a major part in bottling up Luka, as we just showed. Let's hear from Luka Doncic, who shouldered the blame after the loss.
That performance for me is unacceptable, you know. When a player that, it makes for the team harder to win, so just got to figure that out.
Okay, so this is go time for the Lakers here. They've now won just 6 of their last 15 games after winning 13 of their 15 prior. So Brian Windhorst, Luka says he has to be much, much better. I think we can all see that. Is it as simple as turning a switch? That's what the Lakers need to do to solve their issues here?
Well, the Lakers just don't have much of a margin for error, and they really need Luka to be great. And though that record dipped really when LeBron got hurt, that groin injury required more from Luka, and he did have some good games, Malik. I don't want to make it sound like he's playing poorly,
Absolutely.
but he did not make an impact in the fourth quarter of this game. This was a playoff-level game. We saw LeBron and Steph and Austin Reeves and Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green making plays all over the place. And number 77 was nowhere to be found. He didn't make his presence felt at all. And if you look at his numbers with the Lakers, 41% shooting, 26 points. He's got good, assists and rebounds, but he is not being the difference maker like we know he can. And he does look healthier. He has gotten his feet up underneath him. But for the Lakers, with this particular roster, to get where they need to go and to win all these high leverage games, Luka's got to put his fingerprints on the game. And it's just not something that's happened very much. He's got time. Obviously, there's still lots of opportunity. It didn't happen last night, and it hasn't happened a lot over the last 3-4 weeks.
Perk's face is telling me he has a little bit more of a blunt